It is Monday night, and we are live for the first round of the ITZR playoffs tonight. Round number 10 of the Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series. I am Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. And Bill, tonight the LFOD Motorsports 111 from USA International. First round of the playoffs, 8 drivers. 2 are going to be eliminated after tonight's race.
And you don't want to be one of those 2, right, Jeff? You become a laughingstock. No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. But these guys, it's all about there's prizes at the end of the season, Jeff, but right now it's about bragging rights. You want to make it through the next round. It's important to these guys, and you're going to see some serious racing tonight. Smaller field than we're used to here in the Late Model Shootout Series, but that doesn't mean the intensity isn't ramped up. 24 drivers here tonight to see who gets into the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Bill, and it's surprisingly a smaller field because there's bonus money for the drivers that didn't make the playoffs. There's $25 on the line if you're one of the guys that scores the most points in these final 3 races. So these drivers are still fighting for something, even the ones that are not in the playoffs. And surprisingly, a few drivers, I think real life racing's really gotten in the way because we've lost a couple guys to the summer shootout tonight. But one of those guys was one of our playoff drivers, Alex McCollum, had to give up his spot. We added a 9th entry, Corey Bigley, into the playoffs because Alex McCollum couldn't be a part of it. And here we go.
Time ins. Qualifying set to start here for the LFOD Motorsports 111. Peyton Howell out on the racetrack. You can see the banner on the top of his windshield. That is a playoff car. Baby Shark, Peyton Howell, he is going to be in. Well, he is in the playoffs. So that's how you will differentiate the cars. We'll try to see each car, make sure each car has one of those.
Not all the playoff cars have it, but most of them do.
They tried. Caden Fisher is in the playoffs. He is the 4th seed, and the 18 car does not have the banner on the race car.
Bill, a little different format this week because of Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes qualifying. It is a straight up start tonight, so there is no invert, but there is also no bonus points. So right now, qualifying on the racetrack, how you qualify is how you're going to start the A main. Well, Peyton Howell immediately to the top of the board, 21.648. Trevor Edwards goes P2. Now Josh Cottle, 21.617. New quick time for Josh Cottle.
Of course, Josh Cottle is one of your playoff drivers. You can see he has the banner, Jeff. He's your number 1 seed headed into the playoffs. So Cottle trying to back that up with quick time tonight.
Trevor Edwards goes P3, also in the playoffs. Peter Fisher, 21.672, goes P3. Going to bump Trevor Edwards back a spot.
Peter's had some speed here recently, Jeff.
Yeah, he's been lighting it up the last 2 weeks. All of a sudden, that 71 car starting to really find some speed here. Bladen Edwards now P5 on the board, 21.684. Bladen will be part of the 8 drivers racing for a championship tomorrow night in the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series.
Josh Parrish went P7, and another one of your playoff drivers. PJ Evans, he will go up to P3 in the 12 car.
Another playoff driver, PJ Evans, didn't get the banner on the car, but he got the side stickers, which are the ones you need to get paid.
That's
so
right.
He did get that.
He heard that last week. We won't be able to pay you, PJ, and he was like, "Oh, stickers, got him."
Brendan Lee up into 7th on the board. Corey Bigley back to 8th. Josh Parrish 9th. Kyle Meyer into the top 10 in qualifying.
Kieran Church out on the racetrack. Let's see, he's only going to get 1 lap, Jeff. And it is going to be tight for the 22 car. One of your call-ups out of the Late Model Challenger Series here in the Late Model Shootout Series.
Yeah, Jackson Lewis, a playoff driver, trying to make a qualifying lap as well. He gets one on the books, but it's going to be just inside the top 10, right behind Brendan Lee. I believe that's about the 8th position for Jackson Lewis.
Here's Kieran. Like at the last second, is Kieran going to get a time for that? It does not. Yes, he does. He'll go to P18. And that's it, Jeff. It happened. And is there any possible way we could go past this part of the race? Is there any way? There's 2 cars.
Let's see what we can do here. We're going to try to advance this, but we're not planning on having a B main tonight. And the way it sorted itself out, we're going to have a 2-car 20-lap B main with everybody transferring.
That is the slowest dash and smallest slow dash we've ever had. Like you said, a lot of people getting caught up. That's also why we don't have a lot of cars that actually have the banners on the race cars. is because guys are so busy at this time of year, summertime, with real racing and everything else, that it makes it hard for them to get their cars taken care of in just 1 week. Once you know you're in the playoffs, you only have a week after we create the banner, right, Jeff? So
yeah,
they don't have a ton of time. You can see the 2 cars in this slow dash. Like I said, we're going to try to jump past it. It's set for 20 laps for these 2 guys. We're going to try to get beyond this to see if we can go into the A main event.
Well, your 2 cars in this are John Piet and Reagan Parent, the last 2 drivers in qualifying. And we were going to start we were going to start everybody tonight, which were 24 cars here. So originally scheduled for 22 from qualifying. Looking at the chat, Brooklyn here cheering for Baby Shark Peyton Howell just by in the house. He would say, Billy, you should jump in and race this real quick.
I don't have a car, so that's get in the golf cart or let me just ride the pace truck or something like that.
While we were waiting for this slow dash to take off, the pace car gonna head off the racetrack this time. John Piet, Reagan Parent, basically a grudge match here, right?
If we make them race it, Jeff, or if it's even possible, but they have match racing sometimes, Jeff, at local speedways. That's kind of what we got here.
Yeah, 20 laps, so that's a long match race, but John Piet, Reagan Parent, they are off and away.
Wonder if they're talking to each other. Let's just stay side by side the whole time.
Oh, they're putting on a show right now. Reagan Parent on the outside, John Piet on the inside. John Piet in the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes machine. Reagan Parent in the 17 RKM machine, and he'll race for a championship tomorrow.
Still side by side down through turns 1 and 2. Please tell me this is how this setup's going to race all night long.
I hope so. This is a good sign right here because the outside holding. Now Reagan going to back off. He's going to try to get behind. And now he's going to get to the inside of the 5 up Piet.
Little crossover action down the front straightaway.
Ooh, Piet gonna get sideways. He's gonna hook the 17.
That just happened. That just happened. 2 cars crashed in the B main.
And that didn't even bring out a yellow because Reagan was on the racetrack all by himself there. So John Piet is gone and away. Reagan Parent running second. And the driver chat right now is going crazy right now.
Well, Jeff, everybody wants to know what the driver chat is saying right now. What is going on? What are these drivers?
Trevor Edwards just chimed in and he said, Reagan, you're not going to take that, are you?
Oh, my goodness.
It was, I believe Josh Parrish, as that was how he said, big junk, which I guess big junk with 2 cars.
So it is safe to say that the advance command in a situation like this just does not work, right?
I believe we have to get a caution now that I've advanced it. We have to get a caution to slow it down. And,
got it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Unfortunately,
So this is one of the odd iRacing glitches that with our race format, there is no way to skip this.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're into the point with the car counts. If we're going to be starting 30, we can go to just go or go home qualifying. But well, John Piet out front here, working lap number 7 of the slow dash. Reagan Parent running second on the racetrack. Remember, both these drivers going to make it in the A main. We just got to run this B main out. And good news for Reagan, he's going to get a fresh car for the feature event later on tonight. Shannon Wilder in the chat said, literally the entire field was involved in that crash.
That's a good joke, Shannon. We appreciate that.
Mason Johnson here said Brandon Lee to P1.
Now the fun thing, I get to play with cameras, Jeff. That's what I get to do while we're watching 2 cars go around the racetrack, so we get a really good picture of John Piet's car here. It's got the bent keg on the hood. 5-star body on the back end of that car. I hope they're paying him. And the meat block on the side. He's got some interesting sponsors. What he doesn't seem to have on that car, Jeff, is Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes.
Yeah, that's him. You would think he'd have the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes on there.
That was a cheap sponsor plug, I think. We'll give Reagan Parent. Oh, we'll lose Reagan Parent here. We'll give him his time in the sun as well. RKM setup shop on the side of that car and on the hood. Reagan turned his. I'm not sure. He turned the banner pink this week.
Yes.
Good old Reagan.
Reagan will have a yellow banner tomorrow when he races for the first round of the playoffs for the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series. Well, Bill, we are 13 laps into this one, so it's starting to wind down. John Piet leads by about 4.5 seconds over Reagan Parent. Reagan is starting to gain. He's knocking a couple tenths off, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Bladen Edwards cheering on Reagan Parent, trying to get him to chase down the 5 machine. Well, we should see, I believe, 5 to go when John crosses the line this time. He's extended that lead back to 4.5 seconds.
I think Reagan just got bored. Reagan is now going really slow. Reagan has decided that the car's mangled enough. He's not learning anything. John, this is still a test session for John. You can see he's still getting
John.
after it. He's laying more rubber on the racetrack, which we appreciate.
Well, John working his way around. Gonna, I believe, see 3 to go, 4 to go as he crosses the line here.
Now, see, what
Just
John has an
kinda-
opportunity to do here, Jeff, is actually run 20 hard laps and see where your tires are.
Yeah. Well, I heard from a couple guys early on in practice. I got in here. I was sitting in Discord. There's some guys that got on the racetrack early, ran some laps, and they said their tires were burned out after just 20 laps. So this is a good opportunity right now for John to kind of get a chance on the racetrack and then see what the tires are going to be at and decide on a pace for the feature event. But from the sounds of it, tire saving could be very, very important tonight.
I think that'll be interesting to see how these guys play that strategy as we mercifully get 2 to go. Of course, this racetrack, Jeff, no longer exists down in Lakeland, Florida. This was the home
that's
of
a
the
shame.
Hooters Pro Cup Series for many seasons. But they decided
kind of a
to
shame.
bulldoze it to build a warehouse, like there weren't enough warehouses in Lakeland, Florida.
Right, it's Central Florida. I mean, there's land everywhere, but
Right.
you had to build it on the racetrack. Is John Piet gonna pass Reagan Parent here, put him a lap down? And I believe John just got the white flag, so Reagan going to lose a lap. But both these drivers going to make it into the AMA. It's final little test session for them. And then, Bill, I believe we're going to hear a little bit of a word from Simrat Market when we go into our warm-up. Is John Piet going to cross the line, take the slow dash win? Reagan Parent sideways on the outside. Not going to lose a lap.
Stayed on the lead lap. So now he's going to go around a whole another lap. Thank you, Reagan.
Extending the slow dash as long as possible,
right.
Reagan Parent. Thank you.
Just wanted to keep the record of not going a lap down. And here he is to cross the line.
There we go. Reagan Parent.
In the slow dash.
All right. We are heading into our 2-minute warm-up. So, Bill, let's hear a word from Simrat Market.
So, Jeff, you're in the zone racing late model shootout series playoffs, brought to you by simratmarket.com. Pretty cool. I think it's our first ever commercial, Jeff.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. We're big time now, right? We've got paid promotions. I mean, that's pretty cool.
We really
Well, Bill,
appreciate Simrat Market coming on and giving an opportunity for the guys that aren't in the playoffs to race for something.
yeah, $25 to each series, Monday and Tuesday night, to the driver that scores the most points. Bill, the TP3D penalty report, something we haven't been able to say since week number 1 of this series. There is no penalties to speak of. Everybody's going to start where they qualified tonight.
Wow, what a crazy night. No penalties, Jeff, and no invert tonight. So this is going to be straight up out of qualifying. That's pretty exciting.
Remember, these guys still racing for the SD Ireland Cancer Research Fund Clean Driver of the Race Award. And, of course, that bonus at the end of the season, we will have a drawing. All the drivers, every time they run a race without any incidents, they get entered into the drawing. And you can stack those entries all season long and have a better chance at winning that end-of-season drawing. And Bill, it is go time. Round number 1 of the playoffs. The LFOD Motorsports 111 tonight at the USA International Speedway. And again, it's a straight up start, but how fast do you want to push the pace this early? I mean, it's really going to put it into the guys in the front row to how hard they want to push the pace. I mean, I don't know if you necessarily want to give up track position, but you definitely don't want to burn up the tires this early. Not when it matters the most right now, and the championship is on the line here.
Yeah, this is when it starts to get serious, and I'm not gonna lie, Jeff, I just got butterflies. That might be a little weird since I'm not in the race, but I can only imagine the pressure these guys are starting to feel. So I'm having a slight issue with my connection. This might be a problem.
Well, remember, there is 2 drivers will be eliminated after tonight. The last 2 in points, bonus points, 1 bonus point for a win, which basically equals 1 position on the racetrack. So those guys that have a couple extra positions or a couple extra bonus points, like Josh Cottle, that's just 1 position on the racetrack. That's not a lot. Let's go to the grid. On the pole tonight, your quick Wisconsin Weeds and Walleyes quick qualifier driver in the playoffs, the 13 of Josh Cottle. On the outside of him, another driver in the top 8 racing for a championship, the 52 of Peyton Howell. We call him Baby Shark.
Starting in the 3rd position, it is another playoff driver in the 12 car. That is PJ Evans, and on his outside in the 71 machine, it's Uncle Pete, Peter Fisher.
Starting 5th, another playoff driver, the 32 of Trevor Edwards. On the outside of him, one of those drivers trying to play spoiler, the 72 of Bladen Edwards.
Brendan R. Lee is going to roll off P7 in the number 10, and on his outside, another playoff driver in the number 7. That's Jackson Lewis.
Starting 9th, another playoff driver, the 28 of Corey Bigley. On the outside of him, you'll see that bright yellow banner. That means he's also a playoff driver, the 55 of Josh Parrish.
Kyle Myers going to roll off P11 in that number 88. New look for him this week. And on his outside of the number 91, it's Dylan Bates.
Here's a guy we haven't seen in a bit joining us tonight, the 14 of Caleb Hall. On the outside of him, and the number 22, making just his 2nd start in the series, it's Blake Throneberg.
Starting in the 15th position in the number 66 machine, that is Eric Tracy, and to his outside making his return as well, Jeff. Haven't seen him in a little while. It's the 9 car, Colby Bryant.
Starting deep for one of the playoff drivers tonight. Starting 17th, it's the 18 of Caden Fisher. On the outside of him, another newcomer to the series, the 22 of Kieran Church.
Starting 19th in the number 81 machine, that is the ravishing one. It is Rick Rube, and on his outside in the number 31 car, it's Super Zach Onen.
Starting 21st will be the 09, the Joker of Elliott Carlson. On the outside of him, the 212, that is Jonathan Sanford.
John Piette's going to roll off P23 after winning the slow dash tonight, and on his outside, 2nd place in the slow dash, and the last car to transfer into tonight's main event. It's number 17 car, Reagan Parent.
Well, here we go. The field is set, and Bill, these drivers, they know what they got to do right now. Caden Fisher, he's going to need to pass a lot of cars to make it into the next round because he is well behind the rest of his playoff contenders. But out front, Josh Cottle, again, just 1 bonus point to his name, and he's going to hold on here from the pole. We are going green for the LFOD Motorsports 111. Pace car going to take him off the racetrack. Josh Cottle has controlled Peyton Howell on the outside. We are off in a racing. The LFOD Motorsports 111 is underway.
A little bit of a bobbing and weaving situation out front, but they seem to all get away. Battle's going to be out for 2nd place. Peyton Howell's up the racetrack in the 52, and there's a car way up the racetrack. Is that 72 Bladen Edwards? I think got way up high. I don't know what happened to him on the start.
Well, that could just be wanting to save tires. Maybe Bladen's going to sink to the back here. Maybe he thinks that's the play. He's going to go to the rear of the field, just save tires, let the field go. As now Peyton Howell under attack from Peter Fisher in the 71. Pete's going to use the outside, trying to go around Peyton Howell. So looks like the 71 machine's starting to work his way to the front here.
You can see how cool that banner makes those playoff cars, Jeff. They just stick out like a sore thumb, which is what we want. We want guys to know where the playoff cars are. Unfortunately, only about 4 guys got those banners on the top of their car. Last year, Jeff, we actually used the spoiler mounts on the back end to know, for the guys to know behind them that they were in the playoffs.
Well, Brendan Lee going to go around the outside of Peyton Howell as well as Trevor Edwards in the 32 also cleared him. So Peyton going to slip back into the 6th position now. Josh Cottle still out front. Man, Bill, look at Caden Fisher. He is already up into the 11th position, started 17th, and he is absolutely flying right now.
This is going to be a tire game right now, Jeff. You can see a car way out back. Elliott Carlson, he's gone into super save mode in the 09 car, starting towards the back anyway. He's figured he's just going to sit back there and wait on it. Everybody else kind of minding their P's and Q's right now as they head down the back straightaway single file. Now Caden Fisher going to make a move on Corey Bigley. That's a pass between 2 playoff drivers. Caden Fisher's already got around Josh Parrish and Corey Bigley. So move Caden up to the 9th spot.
Yeah, and that would make Caden safe if it ends this way, which, of course, we've got a long ways to go, so can't say that right now, but Corey Bigley and Josh Parrish now on the outside looking in this championship race. As Peyton Howell about to get passed by Caleb Hall as Hall moves to the outside. He's going to go around the 52 machine. And it looks like here comes Jackson Lewis as well. He's going to take a look to the outside.
Peyton Howell's definitely dropped anchor. He's got a plan. He knows that he needs to save tires in that 52 car, so he is setting a certain pace and does not want to use up more tire than he needs to. Right now, you can see he drops to the bottom, letting cars go by on the outside.
Well, Caden Fisher going to make the move as well, so Fisher goes around him. Move Caden Fisher up into the, was it that 7th position now?
That
8th position.
Caden to 8th.
Battle up in front of them as well as Caleb Hall dives underneath Brendan Lee into turn 1. Hall's going to take that spot away. Brendan Lee will dip back in the line behind the 14 machine. So Caleb Hall also putting his hat in the ring for the Adobe Mountain Speedway Hard Charger Award. $5 on the line for the driver who gains the most positions tonight.
Reagan Parent making his way forward, Jeff, as he puts a move on Colby Bryant. With Reagan Parent up to the 17th spot. We saw that he started dead last in the field in 24th tonight. So he's already moving forward as this race wears on. Just about 10 laps down.
Well, Trevor Edwards just moved out of the way and let Caleb Hall go. So Hall's now up into 4th. Brendan Lee now putting some pressure on Trevor Edwards. Will it be interesting to see if the 32 gets out of the way and lets him go. Now Hall going after the 71 of Peter Fisher. He's going to take a look down the inside. Fisher going to close the door on him, shut the door on him there. It's Caleb Hall now going to get underneath him, come down the front straightaway. Peter gets loose. Now it looks like Caleb Hall is going to take that spot, give him the 3rd position. Here comes Trevor Edwards now attacking.
Looks like you got to be careful on the high side coming off of turn number 4. That car will get really loose on you.
Yeah, that was a big moment there for Pete, and he was able to hold on to it now, but he's going to lose a couple spots. Trevor Edwards gets by. Here comes Brendan Lee. Now Jackson Lewis going to take a look underneath the 71 machine.
Jackson Lewis making the move in the 7 car. Here's Caden Fisher, Jeff. Holy cow. Don't look now. Caden Fisher's come to the front. Here he is. He's already here with the lead pack.
17th to 7th and just 12 laps for the 18 machine. So he obviously, Bill, did not want to be in the back of the field as PJ Evans now under attack from Caleb Hall. Here comes Caleb Hall looking for 2nd on the racetrack. He's going to get into the 12 machine.
I think they might have made contact going down into turn number 1. Now PJ Evans going to rally back on the high side. He'll get really loose off the corner. Yeesh. It looks like you do not want to be up high coming off the corner.
Yeah, remember, PJ, one of those playoff drivers on the outside now, losing a spot to Trevor Edwards. Now, PJ does have 1 bonus point because he has a win this season, along with the guy out front. Josh Cottle has 1 win. And it looks like PJ Evans going to slot in front of Jackson Lewis. Can the 7 get there? No, he's not. So PJ Evans back into the 5th spot. Well, Bill, watching for Peyton Howell, who started second, he is back to 12th. He has been passed now by Blake Thronberg and Josh Parrish. So Peyton Howell now the last place runner of the playoff drivers in the 52 machine, running in the 12th position. His teammate, Bladen Edwards, also dropped way to the back. He is now running 21st. So I think that's just a team strategy. I think they decided that they were just going to hang out and save tires in this race and early on and hope for some cautions here late.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. Peyton Howell obviously had the speed in this 52 car. And just decided to drop back to the middle of the field and just kind of hang out there. Hasn't dropped to the very end of the line, Jeff. Doesn't want to give up all that track position, but definitely wants to save some tire.
Well, a couple drivers have dropped to the end, and they are well off the pace. That is Dylan Bates and Elliott Carlson. And we know, based on practice speeds, Dylan Bates was not that slow. So he has definitely gone into that ultra-conservative tire save mode. He has fallen behind the field. He is about 13 seconds back from your leader, running all by himself. And again, I think he's just trying to save as much tire as he can, hope for a caution here, and have a leg up on the rest of the field. Well, Josh Cottle has led 18 laps, but he is about to have some company. Caleb Hall is starting to peek underneath him, coming down the front straightaway. Hall couldn't quite get there this time by, but that 14 is definitely setting a very torrid pace. And you know, Caleb hasn't ran a lot of these longer races, Bill. He's been doing more of the official stuff, racing the strength of field races. Those are much shorter races. You're going to wonder if Caleb maybe just isn't used to these long runs. Is he going to use up too much too early here?
Well, it's tough to gauge. You don't really know what you're going to have late in this run unless you spend a lot of time in practice running long runs in this race car. You have no idea what the tires are going to do over the course of this race, especially 111 laps. That is a long time here at USA.
Yeah, very, very long race on this track, 3/4 mile speedway. This is almost a speedway, not a short track really, but Caleb Hall trying to get to the front early on, and he was willing to use up a little bit extra tire to do it from 13th to 2nd on the racetrack, and trying to put pressure on Josh Cottle. Just hasn't quite stepped out of line to make the pass just yet.
Now he took a peek down into turn number 3. Caleb Hall trying to show Josh Cottle he wants by. That is a playoff driver, with actually a playoff driver out front, a non-playoff driver, and then another playoff driver in third. Caleb Hall definitely looks like he wants this lead and wants to set the pace in the 14 car.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Cottle necessarily wants to give it up, but he definitely doesn't want to be forced into making burning up more tire than he wants to at this point. He seems pretty content at the pace he's running, and Caleb Hall is saying, "Hey, let me by then." And Josh Cottle does not want to give up the lead.
The other thing those playoff drivers have in common out front, Jeff, those are team cars.
Yeah, two of the shop machines there in the 13 and the 32 running first and third.
You can see the raceepi.com. They have an affiliation with Elite Performance Industries, your sponsor of the Late Model Shootout Series, the presenter of the series.
So Caleb Hall here just he only ran one race this season, I believe, and so he just kind of wants to play spoiler. He's been more focused on open setup stuff this season, and coming in here as the season winds down, trying to win a race and just play spoiler in this series, win one for his team Ryko.
Hey, it's still, even though it's a fixed setup series, Jeff, I mean, the big dogs that race here, it feels good to beat these guys any chance you get, right? It doesn't matter
absolutely.
If you're not running your team setup. You still want to beat them.
Absolutely. There's still a lot of bragging rights between the setup shop guys, just to say, hey, we got the better drivers. We can beat you even in fixed setup, right?
Hey, there are some drivers that are not a fan of the fixed setup racing, and to those I say, what are you scared of? You need to lean on your setup? Is that what you need?
Wow, throwing down
I'm
the
just
gauntlet
saying,
here.
it's just a little weird to me. I get sometimes the setups aren't what you like and whatnot, but I understand that they want to tailor it to themselves, right? But these guys are all here putting it down, and some guys are not.
We are working lap 27 of this one. Josh Cottle has led every lap, but Caleb Hall, who has come from deep in this field, trying to put some pressure on him, and He is kind of running out of steam here. Just can't quite find a way around the 13 of Cottle. But they are starting to gap Trevor Edwards and Brendan Lee. It's starting to open up the gap back to Brendan just a bit. Then a big gap back to PJ Evans, who, again, is starting to separate himself from Jackson Lewis, who runs in the 6th spot.
Caden Fisher slowed his roll, Jeff. He was on that move all, well, I guess the beginning 15 laps, and he has slowed it down. He has dropped off the back of that lead pack. He's let them get away from him just a little bit. He is trailing Jackson Lewis, Uncle Pete there right behind him, Corey Bigley there as well. But he slowed it down. He decided he wasn't going to tear up the tires as much as he was early in this race.
Yeah, and I think there might be a little bit of watching some of the guys. You know who you need to race, right? You know who those 8 drivers in the playoffs are, and he got around 3 of them and has slowed the pace down, right? So right now he feels pretty safe. It's up to them now to try to get back around him, and so right now Caden might be just settling in, right, and thinking about getting himself into the next round. The drivers that would be out if this finishes the way it is: Peyton Howell runs 14th on the racetrack, and Josh Parrish, who runs 10th in the 55 machine. He's got Corey Bigley, one of those playoff drivers, directly in front of him. And he's under attack. He's got the 22 of Blake Thronberg starting to break down on the back of the 55 machine. It looked like Parrish got a little sideways last time off turn 4, and so that car might be struggling just a bit with the balance. The right rear tire maybe just a little overheated for Josh Parrish.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. Those are also team cars, are they not?
That's a good question. I think Josh has changed teams a couple times this season, but I do see Race EPI on the side, so I do believe they are part of that Elite Motorsports team. We are 33 laps into this caution free, and now they are starting to gain on those drivers that were kind of waiting in the back of the field, like Elliott Carlson, who's now 20 seconds behind the field. These are about 21-second laps, so Josh Cottle now, he can start to see the back end of the field. That's Elliott Carlson, who runs in the 21st position, or 24th position.
Watching Elliott here, and you can see the field starting to catch him. Dylan Bates is not far ahead of Elliott Carlson. You can see him there on the racetrack. So these leaders starting to close down on what would be lap traffic, but we know it's lap traffic, Jeff. We know that these guys have speed. They're lap traffic because they chose to be drop it away from the field and save tires.
Yeah, and I think they are just praying for a caution right now. It's trouble for Caleb Hall. He's going to let the 32 go. It looked like he got big time sideways last time off turn 2, and he is now dropped off the pace, and he's going to let Trevor Edwards go, take over 2nd, and he's going to slot into 3rd ahead of Brendan Lee.
One thing I will say about a lot of race cars on the racetrack is a lot of them have JBD on the deck lid. And let's give a shout out to Justin Brooks Designs. He paints a lot of race cars for these guys. And I mean, there are a tremendous amount of, you can see it on the back of Caleb Hall's car. I think Trevor Edwards is a Justin Brooks design. I'm pretty sure Cottle is as well. And they're just everywhere. So Justin Brooks, and so is Brendan Arlee. So just unbelievable amount of paint schemes coming out of the Justin Brooks Design shop. So shout out to him. That's a free plug for you, Justin. Thanks for taking care of these guys.
I think we usually see Justin hanging out in the Facebook chat too. I don't know if he's here tonight, but if Justin, if you are in the house, let us know. Caleb Hall has got a mirror full of Brendan Lee, and Brendan is getting a little frustrated, almost put the bumper to the 14 that time, because here comes PJ Evans, who's now starting to close in on the 10. PJ going to take a look underneath. He backs out of it, but Caleb Hall's car has fallen off a cliff now, and he is starting to hold these guys up.
I wonder if he's fallen off a cliff or he has just backed her down. He did run it hard, Jeff, but I don't think it hurts the car that early. I mean, we're only 40 laps into this race. I can't imagine he got any kind of warning, but here comes PJ Evans to the inside of Brendan Lee. Brendan Lee almost shut the door on PJ. That was close for one of your playoff drivers. Brendan could not find his way around Caleb. Now see if PJ Evans can make the move.
Yeah, Brendan going to let the 12 machine go. I don't think he meant to, but at the last second he realized the 12 was there, had to drive up the racetrack, leave the room for the 12 of PJ Evans, who's now up into the 4th spot. But again, Caleb Hall was making life miserable on Brendan Lee as he was trying to get around him, but that car has slowed down so much to the center of the corner. It's been hard for them to get a run. They basically keep parking it in the center of the corner, what these guys like to say, parking it in the center of the corner.
Yeah, we've heard week after week that is a way you can defend a position in this late model stock, because the late model stock takes so long to react to the acceleration that if you park it in the center of the corner and make the guy behind you lift, it's going to be very hard for him to gain any kind of momentum.
Well, PJ Evans now trying to take a shot at the 14. Can he find a way around? But so far, just not able to do it. Now he's going to jump to the outside, and that might be enough, but not quite. As Caleb Hall gets the run, he's going to stretch that out on PJ Evans. So even the outside line not quite working for the 12.
Well, we've seen the outside be really treacherous off the corners. PJ tried to, oh, and he just turns him right into the path of the 10 car. I don't think Brendan Lee got the 14 car.
No, I think everybody's going to survive. Caleb Hall does a little 360 there. But, Bill, that's going to be on us now to decide, you know, well, did the 12 initiate that contact? Did he bring out that caution?
Well, here's your first look at it from the same angle. Looks like he gets to the apron, and Caleb just shutting the door. See if we can get a better look, a different look at this incident.
PJ kind of gets him in the center of the corner. The 14 gets a little bit up the racetrack just from that initial contact, but there's just not enough room for the 12 to try to get up the inside. And then he gets him in the left rear quarter panel, and it's game over for Caleb Hall.
We're going to go to the Stinger Motorsports chopper cam, Jeff. We're going to get the best look we possibly can out of this one. Yeah, he catches him once and then gets him again. I think he just turned him out of frustration. Like you said, there's a way you can park the car in the middle of the corners. And that's what Caleb's kind of doing. PJ just couldn't get to the bottom and just turns him around.
Well, PJ Evans was the cause of the caution, so he's going to go to the rear of the field, and that is huge for one of the playoff drivers. Going to go to the rear of the field now. Peyton Howell was the lowest running playoff driver in the 14th position. PJ going to go back to 24th. Huge break for Dylan Bates and Elliott Carlson, who are recounting on a caution. They got one lap 45. They have saved a lot of tire, but Bill, they've got about 20-something cars to pass if they want to get to the front now.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Again, thanks to Stinger Motorsports, the presenter of our chopper cam this season. We used it so much last season, Jeff, they decided to put their name on the side of the chopper.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Thank you, Frank Griffith and the whole Stinger Motorsports group for that. It looks like Dylan Bates going to come down pit road. I'm not sure if he got any damage or he just wants to drop back to the rear again.
Thank you to Caden Fisher for edging the grass as he came down the front straightaway. We appreciate that as well.
So Bates on pit road. Maybe gonna do some fuel there.
Well, we did hear from some drivers, Jeff, that this setup does tend to wear out the right front. Maybe you've called it. Maybe he's putting some fuel in the car to loosen it up. Again, we have no idea what fuel in these cars actually does because, Jeff, we put our steering wheels away many seasons ago.
Yeah, absolutely. We are full-time announcers now, so we do what we can, what we remember. But pace car lights are out. Josh Cottle up front. Now he's going to have his teammate Trevor Edwards on the outside of him. Brendan Lee with Jackson Lewis, Caleb Hall, Peter Fisher into, actually, it looks like Caden got around Peter. So Caden's going to be 6th, Peter Fisher 7th, Corey Bigley in the 8th spot. And again, big break for Dylan Bates and Elliott Carlson, who lost a ton of track position. PJ Evans going to have his work cut out for him to get back through the field here. Lap 47 restart as they head to the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone. Josh Cottle, Trevor Edwards going to take him green flag racing once again. We are back underway after our first caution of this race.
Cottle able to clear Trevor Edwards going down into turn number 1. That's probably expected as those are team cars. Jackson Lewis in the 7. He's caught on the outside. Blinks out on us for just a moment there. Our lead got really sideways coming off of turn number 2, but he was able to hang on to a good battle down into turn number 3.
A lot of crazy racing further back in the field, but I'm watching that 7 machine in the 10 battling for the 3rd spot. Jackson Lewis on the outside. Now he's got Caleb Hall on the inside. Jackson trying to clear Caleb Hall. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Caden Fisher back behind them in the 6th position.
Good race for 4th. Now Jackson Lewis still stuck on the outside of that 7 car. Not anything he wants to see. And this is kind of interesting, Jeff. These guys, we know the tires wear out pretty quickly on these race cars. These guys going hard right now because they have an opportunity to make passes while they're, oh, and Caden Fisher really sideways off of turn number 2 in the 18 car. That is going to hurt that right rear, not something Caden wanted to do.
That was a big save, though. That looked like he was about to go around, and he did hang on to it. Now, Jackson Lewis trying to get down in line behind Caden Fisher. He keeps thinking about going to the outside. Now he's going to go to the inside. The 7's going to have to back out of it just a bit. Not quite enough room. And then Caden actually gave him the bottom through 1 and 2. So these two playing pretty nice right now, considering this is the battle for the 5th spot.
Yeah, Jackson took a little bit of a peek, and Caden wasn't sure if he was going to go down there. Caden gave him the room as they went down into turn number 1, and now Jackson a little bit of an issue as he blinks out a couple times in that 7 car. But Caden Fisher's able to clear him, going to be there in 5th. That little battle dropped them a little bit behind. Caleb Hall was running to the 4th spot, and he's going to look to the inside of Brendan Lee as they go down into turns 3 and 4.
Well, behind them, Josh Parrish and Peter Fisher just banged doors a little bit. The 55 going to clear. Now Blake Throberg and Peter Fisher get together. 71 trying to get back in line, just not going to be enough room as Throberg has gotten alongside of him. So trouble for Peter Fisher. He's been stuck on the outside since that restart and just can't find a place in line. Behind them, that's Peyton Howell, who's made some moves past Reagan Parent in the 17.
Throberg and Fisher are going to still battle for that spot. That's a battle for 9th. Throberg to the inside. These guys racing side by side again. Daniel Pope puts a doozy together for us. Is the outside able to hang in with the inside line?
Yeah, it's been awesome racing so far. As look at Throberg, just can't quite clear. That car just got loose enough down the straightaway, but the 71 still had a nice run. He does move up the block, and that's going to allow Peyton Howell to take over a spot. Here comes Eric Tracy. Now, can Eric Tracy get there? Peter Fisher trying to get to the bottom. Somebody cut me a break, and Eric Tracy's not going to be that guy.
Yeah, Eric said, I'm not that guy. I'm sorry, friend. We're going to be side by side through turns 3 and 4. Peter Fisher sliding the 71 through the corner, trying to find the bottom. Can't do it. Here comes Kyle Meyer in the 88. Peter ducked down, thinking, please let me in. That's my intention. And everybody said, no, buddy, you're staying to the outside.
Yeah, Kyle Meyer going to take advantage. Behind them, they were 3 wide for a moment with Zach Oden and Reagan Parent, and that's PJ Evans, who's trying to charge his way back to the front. One of your playoff drivers, he just got a penalty, got sent to the rear of the field for causing a caution. He is now up into, about the 15th, 16th position.
Yeah, he's moved up to the 15th spot, goes by Peter Fisher. Here comes Bladen Edwards in the 72. Peter Fisher now finally going to be able to get back in line. I think he was in the top 10, Jeff, when we started. We had this restart. Peter just could not find the bottom of the 71, and he's still loose through the corner.
Yeah, I think Peter started 6th spot and has fallen all the way back into 14th. So brutal run there on that restart. Just could not get in the line, and now that car is real loose. As you can see, Bladen Edwards, how much time he gained on him there through 1 and 2. Well, Jackson Lewis has gotten around Caden Fisher, and now here comes Caleb Hall in the 14 machine. He's going to try to jump to the outside of Caden Fisher. That's Corey Bigley on the inside of the 28. They make contact. One of your playoff drivers there having some issues with Caleb Hall.
That's actually Caleb Hall going backwards, Jeff. Hall was up battling with Brendan R. Lee, and Caleb, I think, wore out that 14 car as he was trying to battle for the lead early in this race. Just doesn't seem to have pace in that 14 right now. Corey Bigley tried to make the move, wasn't able to do so. They'll slot back in. They'll be single file. Josh Parrish is there as well in the 55.
We talked about it. Caleb Hall, one of the official racers, runs a lot more of the strength of field stuff, and those are much shorter races. And Caleb set a pretty torrid pace early on, and it seems like that car has fallen off very quickly, and that is trouble for him. Though we just lost John Piet. Not sure what happened to the 5 machine, but he came down pit road, and he has called it a night. So John going to finish in the 24th position. As 23 cars still in the lead lap, still running on the racetrack here, lap 61.
We did catch a shot of John Piet pancaking the wall pretty good, Jeff, off of turn 4 on one of the earlier laps not that long ago. I think it was right after that restart, and may have hurt the 5 car and just wasn't going to be able to keep up, so he put her on the trailer. But talk about setting a torrid pace, Jeff. Josh Cottle is driving away from this field right now. His teammate Trevor Edwards sits 2nd. Brendan R. Lee is sitting 3rd, and the whole pack is kind of on top of each other. But Cottle just running around out front right now. We've seen him do this before.
Yeah, him and Trevor Edwards both, they are very good at getting out front and just setting a consistent pace where they can save tires, and they are doing that right now. Josh Cottle's opened up to about half a second lead over his teammate Trevor Edwards. Then you got about 1 second back to Brendan Lee, who runs in the 3rd spot. Then it starts to get to be a bit of a scramble here with Jackson Lewis running 4th, Caden Fisher 5th, Caleb Hall 6th, still battling with Corey Bigley, who's got Josh Parrish taking a peek underneath him into turn 1. They were thinking 3 wide, but Caleb Hall is holding on for dear life for that 14 machine. That thing is big time sideways every time he gets through the corners.
The right rear is gone in the 14. He is sliding. We've been watching it, Jeff. He is sliding all the way, and you can see him now. He is just trying to hang on in that 14 car. I wonder if he got a notification that right rear was going away, because it looks like it is junk right now.
Yeah, and he is just struggling along as Blake Thronberg goes by. There goes Peyton Halley. Here comes Eric Tracy. So Caleb Hall sunk all the way back to 10th. Now he's getting passed for 10th and going to fall back to 11th as Eric Tracy in the 66 machine battles. Here comes Kyle Meyer in the 88. The 31 is Zach Oden. PJ Evans back there as well in the 12, still trying to chase his way back up to the front. And right now he is the lowest running of the playoff drivers, currently in the 14th spot. And unfortunately for Caleb Hall, there is no tire changes. He has got what he's got, and it doesn't look like he has much left as that car is sliding again. And I think we saw this at South Boston with Bladen Edwards, who's going around Caleb Hall right now. Once you get to this point, Bill, there's nothing you can do. It's eventually you're going to spin this thing or you're going to have to park it.
Yeah, he is just, oh man. He may be having fun, but it doesn't look fun. And what's weird about this, Jeff, is we talked to a driver earlier in this race, or before the race actually, and that driver told us that the right front was wearing out on his race car. Caleb Hall has completely cooked the right rear. So again, it's all about how you drive these fixed setups. That's what you're going to get. Now Caleb Hall going to go around. And that's going to bring out the yellow. We knew it was just a matter of time if he kept up the pace. He did. It brings out our second yellow of the evening.
Well, Bill, that is a single car incident, so that's going to give us a quickie yellow here. So we're going to do this one quickly.
Well, we're going to do our best to show you a little bit of what happened. We're just going to show Caleb Hall's in-car here as he drives around. And you can see the man fighting the steering wheel. This is the previous corner. Just completely like he's dirt tracking. That has all the look of a blown right rear, Jeff. Or at least a flat, gone right rear.
Yeah, nothing Caleb can do there. He has brought it down pit road. I think he's going to call it a night. And he did just confirm in our Facebook chat that tire blew. So Caleb, yeah, he started 13th. He was up to like 2nd really quickly, but just too much pace too early on. And unfortunately, he only made about lap 70 of this 111 lapper. But Caleb learned a very valuable lesson tonight. That's one he'll take with him into the next ITZR event. These are a little bit longer races. It's pace car going to go off the racetrack. Josh Cottle, Trevor Edwards on that front row in the VSRM restart zone. After the second caution of the night, Caden Fisher just got a bump going green here, and that is going to stack everybody up.
Everybody's stacked and everybody trying to figure it out. The one that's going to make me nervous is PJ Evans winning a turn number 1, 3 wide, and now Dylan Bates going to go around. Bates, I think, just ended up being your odd man out. Is the bump that Josh Parrish gave Peter Fisher caught in that one as well.
We got trouble because Dylan Bates is still sideways on the racetrack, and we're
still green.
Yeah, he's going to get turned around, but he's going to lose a lap here to Josh Cottle as Cottle goes by him. Now, Jackson Lewis and Brendan Lee were 3 wide with the 91 trying to get rolling. Here comes Josh Parrish. He's going to get into Corey Bigley. That's going to collect Thronberg. Bigley's around. That will bring out a yellow.
Wow. I did not know we were still green with Dylan Bates sitting backwards on the racetrack. I mean, there were cars that were parked over there. Peter Fisher went by Dylan Bates when he was backwards. Let's take a look and see what happened as they went down into the corner. Corey Bigley and Josh Parrish. Well, Josh just decided the move was going to happen. So that's what it looks like on the initial view of that as they went down the back straightaway.
So it looked like Parrish got to the inside. Corey was trying to defend. He was in front of the 55, and Josh kind of sent it up the inside.
Well, Corey had to clear to get behind Caden Fisher in order to get to the bottom. So he had to check up a little bit or else he would have been stuck to the outside of Caden Fisher. And Parrish had a run and just went down there. And we're going to check the chopper cam again on that one because that one's tough to call. I mean,
Yeah.
Parrish has the run, and it's because Corey checks up to stay behind Caden.
Yeah, which is because the 91 is off the pace on the outside. So Corey sees that, realizes, hey, the 91 is still trying to get rolling. He's on the very top of the racetrack, so he moves down. And I think he just expected, Josh isn't going to try to pass me here. We're just trying to survive. And unfortunately, Josh Parrish saw an opportunity.
That is a late move, a very late move. And that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is hard to call. I mean, Josh gets there. It's still on the straightaway. But yeah, that's forcing the issue. That really is forcing the issue there.
So Jackson Lewis continues to have a little bit of a connection issue. I haven't really seen it. I see him do it under yellow, Jeff. I don't know if I see him do it as much under green flag racing. We've seen that before in iRacing.
Yeah, Jackson's been having some issues with that the last couple of weeks.
But again, I don't think I see it as often under green flag conditions. It does happen from time to time, but it seems like it happens a lot worse. We have to check to make sure Jackson isn't on Wi-Fi. It's terrible.
Well, this is going to set us up for a single file. So here we go, Bill. Josh Cottle out front. It's going to be a lap 77 restart here. Trevor Edwards, Jackson Lewis, Caden Fisher, top four, all playoff drivers. Brendan Arlee in that mix in fifth. Not a playoff driver, but the guys behind him, Josh Parrish, Caden Fisher, they are. Is Josh Cottle going to take us back to the SRM restart zone? We are green flag racing. Trevor Edwards didn't get a great restart. He's going to be under fire here from Jackson Lewis early on in this one.
Tight racing, some tight single file racing there through the pack. Blake Thronberg has pretty good damage on his race car in that 22 machine. He's running around in seventh. He's up the racetrack now. He just got passed by Peyton Howell, who is on the move, Jeff. The loud pedal, the wick has been turned up. Peyton Howell is moving forward. Here comes Zach Bonin in the 31 as well.
Yeah, remember Peyton started second tonight. He was second fastest qualifier, dropped to the back early on, and now he's starting to make that charge to the front, currently running seventh. As far as playoff drivers go, the last two running right now are PJ Evans and Corey Bigley. Corey's all the way back in the 19th position. He really needs to get going right now as Trevor Edwards is up the racetrack as Jackson Lewis, again, trying to go past him, but he's starting to have some serious connection issues. That might be scaring the 32 just a bit here as Jackson's been blinking in and out here.
It's getting worse and worse. Side by side for third, Brendan Lee and Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards loose in the 32 machine as they came off of turn number 2. Here comes Caden Fisher in the 18. He's involved in this battle as well.
Well, Jackson Lewis is gone now as Brendan Lee and Trevor Edwards battle. Here comes Caden Fisher. Trevor Edwards struggling now because he's stuck on the outside line. And again, we've seen it with drivers getting sunk all the way to the back.
Here comes Josh Parrish in the 55. He looks to the inside of Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards in trouble in the 32 machine. One of your playoff drivers now seems to have lost pace as he watched a couple of other playoff drivers go by him.
Well, Caden Fisher, Brendan Lee battling hard for the third spot. Brendan Lee not part of that playoff run, but He made some contact with Caden Fisher there going into turn 1. Caden's going to clear him. The 55 of Parrish going to take advantage. Can Trevor Edwards also get there? He's going to drive to the bottom, try to gain some spots back that he just lost.
Zach Owen just put a bumper to Peyton Howell as they went down into turn number 3. He's going to try to make the move on the 52 car.
Yeah, that's not good for Peyton Howell, who is under attack here from the 31 of Zach Owen. Peyton was trying to go forward. He had been saving tires, but it looks like the 31 maybe saved a little more.
Zach Owen on the move in the 31. As he's looking underneath Peyton Howell, that's a battle for the 7th spot.
Blake Throneberg back up into the mix as well. He's up into the 9th spot as Kyle Meyer is taking over 10th. Eric Tracy and PJ Evans, they battle back there for 11th. And 52 of Peyton Howell was able to clear Zach Oden. Now Oden's going to jump to the outside. The 31 looks strong. Is Trevor Edwards having trouble? That car is sideways off turn 4. It looks like the 32 is starting to go away.
Now Trevor Edwards struggling in the 32 machine. Now Josh Parrish going to make the move on Caden Fisher. That's a battle for 3rd. Josh Parrish on the move in the 55. Looks underneath Caden Fisher. He's dragging Brendan Lee. Now Caden Fisher sideways through 3 and 4.
Yeah, cars are starting to fade right now. And Caden Fisher's car has gotten sideways as Josh Parrish moves up to 3rd. Brendan Lee into the 4th spot. Caden back to 5th. Here comes Peyton Howell in the 6th spot. Zach Oden 7th. Kyle Meyer's gotten around Trevor Edwards for 8th. Edwards is sinking now through the field. Next up is Eric Tracy, who runs in the 10th spot.
Caden Fisher's in trouble, Jeff. I'm watching his car. It is sideways through the corners. That right rear will not last. We already saw what happened to Caleb Hall. Here comes Peyton Howell to the inside. Baby Shark it's a shark attack, Jeff. Here he comes to the inside of Caden Fisher's. He's looking for the 5th spot.
Eric Tracy has just gone around Trevor Edwards for the 10th spot. Now the next car line is PJ Evans. The PJ is one of the 2 cars that are out of the playoffs right now if it finishes this way, but he could get around Trevor Edwards, set himself into the next round.
Price of poker through the roof. Everybody getting what they can. Now is Throneberg up the racetrack in the 22. Here comes Reagan Parent in the 17. Colby Bryant in the 9. He's trying to make his way forward. He's running in the 14th position. He's going to battle with Bladen Edwards. Great battling all over the racetrack.
If you're wondering about out front, it's all Josh Cottle. He's got 6/10 of a second over Jackson Lewis. He has opened up that lead. It's 2.8 back to Josh Parrish, who runs 3rd. Peyton Howell and Brendan Lee. This is the best battle on the racetrack for the 4th spot right here. Caution is out.
I think Throneberg is having issues.
Throneberg was running 12th. Caution's going to wave. Looks like he might have got together with Colby Bryant. And that is going to bring out a yellow on lap 90 of this one.
See, he got sideways. He was way up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. I think tried to blend in line and just didn't have room.
They were 3 wide.
Yeah.
So Colby was trying to give room to Bladen Edwards. He might have got hooked together with Elliott Carlson, and that turned the 9 up the racetrack into Blake Throneberg.
Yeah,
Blake might have just been the victim of that one.
Yeah, 3 wide, just too many cars in one space. I don't know what happened to Throneberg. He just ended up way up the racetrack in 1 and 2, just never turned into the corner. And that kind of stacked everybody up. You can see Blade Edwards gets into the 9 of Colby Bryant, who gets shoved up the racetrack into the 09 of Elliott Carlson. And we're going to give you that from the Stinger Motorsports chopper cam because there's a lot happening right there. See these cars all over each other as if they were dirt racing, Jeff. That's what that looks like. And Barney quick on the flag there. Everybody got through that, kept going straight.
Corey Bigley got a piece of that as well. He kind of got into the 09 there as he was trying to get through that. And Corey, again, looks like he's going to gain some spots here, back up to the 17th position, but it's not going to be good enough. He's going to need to gain a lot of spots or have some trouble happen to the guys that are in the playoffs up ahead of him. But shout out to Corey Bigley because he has been in the top 10, Bill, in this series multiple years in a row now. And Corey's he hasn't won one of these late model shootout series races, but he's very, very consistent and he keeps finding himself in the mix here.
Jeff, we might have to I just watching this Jackson Lewis car, he is basically not there as much as he is there now, if not more. He's pretty much gone the entire time.
Yeah, this is starting to the
It's
seven machine.
it's getting worse and worse. Yeah. This could be a bad thing for Jackson Lewis, one of your playoff drivers in that 7 car. But the connection might be an issue for some of these drivers around him. As we hit 15 laps remaining in this race. Yeah, Jeff, I think that's enough to send him to the back. Man, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, we're given an opportunity to see if he can do anything here under this caution, but
looks like he's got it leveled for the moment. Let's keep an eye on the 7 car here.
And we're trying to give him he's in that championship battle, so we're trying to give him every opportunity to make sure he gets it sorted out. It looks like it might have settled down just a bit, so we're hoping he's good to go here. It seems like it's his peen and quality is all settled in, and then as I say that, he drops out for a second there. But we are headed to the BSRM restart zone. It's going to be a lap 95 restart for Josh Cottle. We are back underway. Cottle well and clear. Jackson Lewis, Josh Parrish, Brendan Lee going to battle for that 3rd spot. Looks like Trevor Edwards got way up the racetrack through 1 and 2.
Josh Parrish looking to make it happen down into turn number 3, trying to make the move on Brendan Lee. Here comes Peyton Howland, the 52. Zach Onan's there as well. Before the caution came out, we saw Caden Fisher struggling, but he is still solidly in the top 10, running 8th. We'll watch that yellow car, so we see him start to struggle. We'll know that right rear's going away. And here comes Kyle Meyer, Jeff. We haven't said much about Kyle all night long. He's up to 7th.
Yeah, Kyle Meyer's been just outside the top 10 for much of the night. Now he is into the top 10. He gets around Caden Fisher. Here comes Zach Oden going around the 10 of Brendan Lee, and he's bringing along Kyle Meyer. That 31 and the 88 have saved a little bit, and they have got some speed here at the end of this one. As Bill, I'm watching further back in the field. They are just all mixed up. Trevor Edwards has just gotten passed by PJ Evans. The 32 car is struggling now. He would be out of the playoffs going into the next round as Reagan Parent's going to go around. He's going to save it. He's going to take it to the pits. What a save. And now Corey Bigley involved with Bladen Edwards on the front straightaway. Caution is going to wave.
Bigley is backwards in the 28 car. Right, that saved Reagan Parent, Jeff, as he's going to go down pit lane and not lose a lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Big break for Reagan Parent there as Corey Bigley. I think Corey was trying to avoid the 17, and Bladen Edwards, they ended up 3 wide coming down the front straightaway because Bladen had gotten forced way up the racetrack.
You see Reagan Parent sliding around the bottom there on your screen. Oh, and then yeah. I don't think Corey knew there was a car to the outside. Corey's not down near the bottom of the racetrack with the car.
Trying to figure out what even happened to Reagan. He came from the top to the bottom, and that thing just broke sideways on entry to the corner. I thought maybe him and Bladen had gotten together, but there was no contact. That 17 maybe blew the right rear tire or something.
Let's see if we can find him here as he went... I think he just drove it in too hard. He shot it into the corner. Let's see if there's any contact with the 32. No, he just lost it getting in, Jeff. And then we'll stop it there and pick up the Corey Bigley car. Here's that incident. Oh! Looked like Colby Bryant was there for a meet and greet between the 28 and the 72 there. That's the unfortunate situation as those 3 cars came off the corner and just didn't really pay attention to anybody around them at that point. Well, this has gotten really interesting, Jeff.
Yeah, it has, and this is getting down to crunch time here.
We need to set this up because Josh Cottle has kind of put on a clinic so far. He had Trevor Edwards running with him most of the race. And Cottle has not seemed to have the struggles that Trevor Edwards had, or is having. So he's laid down a pace and seems to have also been able to save tire on that 13 car, which is pretty amazing. Now you've got Jackson Lewis, Josh Parrish, Peyton Howell all lined up behind him. Those are 4 playoff drivers. So that is 4 of your top 6. Zach Onen not in the playoffs. Kyle Meyer not in the playoffs. Brandon Lee is not in the playoffs. Eric Tracy isn't either. The next guy is Caden Fisher. He is in the playoffs. And right behind him, PJ Evans and Trevor Edwards. The only other driver trying to make it into the next round is Corey Bigley. We just saw his issues in the last incident. So it's going to be between these 3 guys, Caden, PJ, and Trevor Edwards, to try to pick up your final 2 transfer positions. One of those guys is going to be out.
Yeah, you need to gain a spot here if you're Trevor Edwards, and you got a couple guys. I know Trevor's struggling with the car now. It seems like that thing is starting to fade on him. But this double file restart, it looks like he's going to restart on the inside in the 11th position. This could be a benefit for him. PJ Evans will be on the outside here. If he can keep the 12 car from getting down, maybe he can get in front of him. Maybe he can hold him off just long enough to make his way into the second round. I mean, this is going to be one of the more interesting battles on the racetrack right here between the 32 and the 12. These 2 are going to be fighting for their life right now.
Now, of course, I say one of these guys is going to be out, Jeff. That is with the, the assumption that nothing happens in that top 4. But of course, we can't assume that. There are some very hungry drivers that would like to win a race here in the late model shootout series. One of those being Zach Onen and another being Kyle Meyer, and both of those cars have been pretty strong here in the late going.
Well, here we go. They're heading to the BSRM restart zone. Josh Cottle, Jackson Lewis, and Lewis again having more issues. We get set to go green flag racing. Looks like Josh Cottle is going to be well clear of the 13. Here comes the 55 of Parrish looking for 3rd.
Josh Parrish up the inside of Peyton Howell. Peyton Howell and Parrish going to be side-by-side off of turn number 2. A little bit sideways for the 55 car. Peyton Howell gets a nice run. Almost clears Parrish down into 3. Not able to. They'll stay side-by-side through 3 and 4.
Caution is out. Rick Rube gets together with Dylan Bates. They are up in the turn 3 wall. Caution is going to wave here lap 105. And it looks like it might have started... Ooh, with Dylan Bates and Trevor Edwards getting together down the back straightaway.
Not what you want to hear if you're a Trevor Edwards fan. But it looks like Trevor was okay.
Yeah, Trevor's going to get out of it. PJ Evans actually kind of hit the wall coming off turn 2. And I think that made the 91 kind of drive down a little bit lower. He hooks the 32 in the right rear, then gets turned by the 09.
Yeah, that's a high-speed wreck right there.
Yeah, and luckily for Trevor Edwards, he didn't go all the way around. He's going to hold on. Dylan Bates takes the brunt of that one. So he gets hit head-on. Corey Bigley snuck through there barely.
Luckily for PJ Evans and Trevor Edwards, both of them got caught in that just a little bit. As you can see, the 32 car get turned up into the 12. And the 12 got some of the wall.
Yeah, PJ bounced it off the wall pretty hard there. And then he gets the 32 right in his door because the 32 is getting hooked.
So it still sits pretty much the same, Jeff, with Josh Cottle, Jackson Lewis, Peyton Howell, Josh Parrish, your top 4. Peyton Howell's been able to flip that script a little bit, Jeff, as he was able to clear Josh Parrish on the top side, so he'll start in 3rd. Last time he started in 4th. Then Caden Fisher running 9th, PJ Evans 10th, and Trevor Edwards 11th. That is your battle for the final transfer positions. Corey Bigley did make up a few spots on that little tiny run. He's jumped his car back up to 15th, so he is going to try to get to that group of 3 to try to make his way into the next round of the playoffs.
Well, Brett Suggs in the house, and He was saying that, Trevor Edwards just threw a shoulder saving that car, and definitely had to wheel that one because he was basically sideways into the door of the 12 there, and somehow comes out of that one. But again, he's got to gain a spot here. PJ Evans still ahead of him in this championship battle. Caden Fisher as well. And Bill, this is going to set us up. They did not complete a lap, so this is going to be a single file restart as we hit the BSRM restart zone. Josh Cottle is off and away with Jackson Lewis behind him. Here's Peyton Howell running third now. And does Peyton have anything left? Remember, he has saved a lot of tire, but we are down to about green-white checkered here.
Off of turn number 2, Josh Cottle going to lead the field. Everybody bobbing and weaving off the corner. Jackson Lewis still having issues with that connection. We have to do something about that by next week.
And Jackson going to try to do something, but I just don't know if he can even really step out of line and try to make a move on Josh Cottle. He's better off just trying to bring it home into the playoffs at this point. As Josh Cottle saw the white flag this time down the back straightaway. Peyton Howell is safe. Josh Parrish is safe. Kyle Meyer is up into the 5th spot. And off turn 4, it's going to be all Josh Cottle. He's going to see the checker flag, win the LFOD Motorsports 111, and he's going to slot his way into the next round of the playoffs.
Let's take a look at those last playoff spots.
It looks like PJ Evans going to get 10th. Trevor Edwards, Corey Bigley going to finish 12th. And that is going to mean that PJ Evans is in, Trevor Edwards and Corey Bigley most likely going to be out here.
Yeah, I think Caden Fisher was able to hang on. I think that single file restart, Jeff, having an issue in that restart so quickly saved some of these drivers that needed the tires to cool down just a little bit just to go 2 laps by themselves.
So looking at the scoring, Josh Cottle, Jackson Lewis, Peyton Howell, Josh Parrish, Kyle Meyer, Zach Onan going to come home 6th, Eric Tracy with a 7th place finish, Brandon R. Lee 8th, Caden Fisher 9th, PJ Evans 10th. Again, Trevor Edwards 11th, probably going to be out of the playoffs. Corey Bigley 12th. A nice comeback for Corey Bigley to get a 12th out of it. But again, just nobody else in the playoffs really had any issues. I mean, they all finished in the top 12. And just a rough night for Corey Bigley. Elliott Carlson 13th, Kieran Church 14th, Reagan Parent 15th, Peter Fisher 16th, Rick Rube, Blake Thronberg, Dylan Bates, Colby Bryant, your top 20. Jonathan Sanford going to come home 21st. Bladen Edwards, we missed what happened to Bladen there, but he did call it a night, finished 22nd. Caleb Hall 23rd. John Piette, first car out, and 24th tonight.
I cannot wait to talk to Josh Cottle.
Well, Billy, you don't have to wait long because we got our race winner, Josh Cottle, in the house. And Josh, we had some concerns because there were some guys that got out front and got to the front early on, like Caleb Hall, even Caden Fisher. They seemed like they fell off very, very hard, but you never did. What was it that allowed you to put on that kind of pace and just never seem to fall off?
Honestly, surprisingly, everybody that I was hanging out with were complaining loose, and I was actually complaining tight. I think honestly that was it, because I felt like after those restarts, specifically like the last 5 or so like laps, I was so tight, man. But honestly, I think that actually played out in my favor, if anything.
So let's talk about that, Josh, because I think Jeff and I are pretty amazed on what you were able to do. Trevor Edwards was stuck to the back bumper of yours for most of the race, and he cooked the tires. Wasn't able actually to even transfer. He actually is one of the cars out of the playoffs after tonight. So is it a driving style thing, Josh? What do you think happened? Because it looked like he ended up with a loose race car.
Oh, 100% a driving style thing. This car is really bad about that. Like, I felt like me and him are going the same pace, and honestly, he was like, man, I'm starting to get loose, and I'm over here cranking 90 degrees trying to get the thing to turn. I don't know, though. He did get stuck on the top a little bit there, and that probably hurt him too, but I felt like we had a very good car tonight, especially, literally a 1 through 5 EPI finish. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, let's just talk about the driving style, though, Josh. What kind of driver are you? Do you charge the corner, or do you back off coming into the corner? Which one is it that helped you tonight?
Oh, we're full send, man. We're full send entry.
There it is.
I cannot like drive this thing off like most people can. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet, but I like to make up a lot of my time on entry.
Well, Josh, you came into the night. You did what you needed to do. You set quick time. You won the Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes Quick Time Award, $5 in your pocket, and you go into the second round of the playoffs. Now we're headed to Richmond next week, and is this like
Boy.
confidence boost heading into that race that you can set quick time and you can run away with these races and win this championship?
I mean, somewhat, yeah, but man, that is not my driving style of a track right there. I mean, I finished okay in Sara there, but I mean, I'm just not good at these big tracks, man. But I know I have a lot of people to help me out here.
Well, Cottle, Josh, you are back, man. Let's just say that because we saw you have a good early part of the season, kind of tailed off a little bit. Obviously, we're the number 1 seed coming into the playoffs, so I had a great season, and here you are back in victory lane. What is it? I mean, you got to figure this puts you on pace, or at least makes you the favorite to go into the final 2 races of the season and win this title. What do you think about that?
Man, I'm just gonna put it all out there, man, and try my best. That's all I can ask or do, basically. But man, I've been having a blast here. I mean, this was a lot of strategy. I love the strategy races with this car when you actually have to do stuff. So I'm excited to finish out the season. I'm gonna give it my all.
Well, that's awesome, Josh. We're glad you're excited. A fantastic run tonight, and heading into that next round at Richmond, you're now 2 away from possibly winning a championship. That's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, Josh. Did we ask him about who he wants to thank yet?
Let me do it for him. He'd like to thank
Okay.
the shop, RacyPI.com, Trevor Edwards for racing him clean because they're no. Go ahead, Josh. I'm just kidding.
Hey, you nailed it perfect, man. Man. But yeah, that is very true. But also, you missed it. I want to thank y'all, of course. This is a great league, great racing. I mean, I've been having a blast with it, and man, I can't thank everybody enough that puts this on, all the broadcasts, and then can't think of everybody that's been helping me out over at EPI. And we were in chat just kind of going over what we need to do there, and feel like we definitely had a great run there with all the boys.
Well, Josh, all kidding aside, though, you guys over at the shop at RacyPI.com, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and it is impressive to watch you guys play the strategy game, help each other out. It's something that all iRacers should aspire to do, and congratulations to you and the boys for having such a good night tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Well, those guys are gonna have a busy week because we're getting set to go racing in Sarah on Thursday as well. So we'll see Josh Cottle and the rest of the shop boys on Thursday night, Nashville Mini, and that is going to be a wild one. Josh, how do you feel about Nashville Mini heading into that race?
The stressed out count as an answer?
Yes, it does.
Man, I'm so terrified of that race. That's going to be the one that's the head turner, if you will. There's going to be some interesting racing, but I'm excited for it.
All right, Josh. Well, congratulations. Good job tonight, and we look forward to seeing you Thursday night with the Sarah race.
All right, thank y'all.
Well, now join us, our second place finisher, Jackson Lewis. And Jackson, it was a bit of a up and down night for you because you were having all kinds of issues there with the internet connection. Did you kind of get an idea how bad it was? How hard was it to drive like that?
I had no indication of how bad it was. I was being told how bad it was. I was trying to stay kind of in a general area, but I don't know. That's the worst that it's ever been. I got to do some figuring out. I've always had some little issues that normally clear up, but this week she didn't clear up. I guess I don't know, it seems like the same time every day or something like that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to do a little research and try to get her figured out.
Well, I can give you some advice off the air if you'd like, Jackson, because it's kind of what I do for a living. But no, did you play strategy in this race? It looked like you dropped back early. I noticed you were kind of sitting there, not really running all the way up front like Trevor and Josh did. But did you wait for a little bit? Was that kind of the idea, thinking maybe the tires might wear out?
Yeah. I kind of saved for a little while there. I didn't go too hard. They were running a pretty good pace that I felt like I could be able to run, but I just they were so far ahead that I was running their pace for a little while, but I figured, oh, they're so far ahead anyways, I might as well just back it down. So I found a good pace running like 22.3s ish around there, and just kept running that pace as long as I could. And then once we had that I think first yellow, I think we had a long green flag run right off the bat. I don't think we had any yellows, but after that first yellow I kind of picked it up a little bit, and then we started picking off some spots, and then after I think it was like 30 or 40 to go, I mean, I lit the wick from there. There's no holding back from there on. But I don't know, somehow those guys, Trevor burnt it up pretty bad, but Josh, he kept it on there. He was complaining the entire time that he was tight, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get him here, but I just had nothing for him. I guess I burnt up the right rear a little too much and used it up from just saving and use it up.
Well, we
Well,
found out why he gets tight, Jackson. So if you go back and listen to the broadcast, it'll give you an indication on what you need to do to beat him. Just
Well,
saying.
I will be doing that this week then.
Well, Jackson, I gotta ask because again, you had a bunch of teammates up there in the top 5. You're racing for a championship. You're just trying to get into the next round. I mean, that's step number 1. That's the most important. But how do you balance that with also wanting to win these races? I mean, it comes down to a green white checkered. How much do you have to kind of calm yourself down, back yourself down from maybe doing something and possibly taking you and a teammate out of the championship?
Well, the biggest thing is that they're teammates, and I gotta talk to them every goddamn day. If I didn't have to talk to these guys, I would probably do something unspeakable. Because I haven't won an ITZR race since I think my second race in the Challenger Series at North Wilkesboro when I had to boot. I don't know who it was, but I booted him for the win, and I'm not afraid to do it again.
Oh, I think I know. Was it the
Yeah.
week? It was Felix Gratton won the race. Who got booted? I don't remember. Oh, the 9 car. I don't remember his name now.
Grayson
Grayson Ward,
and that
that's
was
right.
the championship battle.
That's right,
that
at
Jackson,
Yes,
Wilkesboro.
it was.
Jackson
Yes, it was.
punted the guy that was about to win the championship in the final quarter.
It was the best finish and crazy. Jeff and I lost our minds in that race, but yeah, we do remember. Sorry, Grayson Ward, you're not here anymore, so out of sight, out of mind. I apologize for that. So Jackson, going through the playoffs, obviously you're into the second round now. What is the plan moving forward? Richmond next week. Is it a track you're looking forward to, or what do you think your chances are of making it into the final round?
We're just gonna go with high. We're going with a high chance. I feel really confident with myself and how I've been doing these last. I know I can put it together really good finishes. I know I can put a race together. Feeling pretty confident. I just need to get those couple more spots. What's the last race? Can you guys tell me what the last race is?
I believe that's Myrtle Beach, right?
I
mean,
believe it's Myrtle Beach. Yep.
Yes.
Well, I can get down with some dirty Myrtle. So I mean, we just got to get past this Richmond week. That'll be a hit or miss for me. I don't know. It's a big track, so hopefully, like I said, a hit or miss on that one. So I don't know. Just go through next week and hopefully, I mean, I'll be happy with another second place finish. But once we get to Dirty Myrtle, I want nothing but first.
All right, Jackson, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? I see Elite on that car, and I'm sure you got some people there that you want to shout out here on the stream.
Yeah, I just want to thank Race CPI once again. They have been helping me out a lot with all the open setup stuff, and if anybody needs anything open setup wise, go to raceepi.com. They're the best in the biz. I mean, those guys are awesome to talk to, hang out with every day of the week. I just got to thank my real life sponsors, Legends Direct, Oxborough Enterprises, Prairie Lake Lawn Care, BBR Enterprises, Team Emond, and Forever Lawn. I just got to thank all of them guys for supporting me. We got a second week of the season coming up this weekend, so pretty excited, and hopefully we'll go a little better than first week.
All right, Jackson, congratulations. Second place finish tonight. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Well, now joining us, Bill, our third place finisher, Baby Shark, Peyton Howell, going to come home with a third. And Peyton, we were wondering about that strategy call because you started second, and it seemed like you were in no rush to run to the front. You sunk back in about 12th, 13th position. What was the point in that race where you decided, you know what, I need to start going to the front?
It was probably about the second caution, I would say. I super saved, let everybody go, didn't run the top because I knew from practice that a bunch of people were gonna blow right rear, and that's what it seemed like happened early. We had about 40 to go, and I started seeing people blow right rears. So I was like, I just tried to save and kind of burn the right front off, and it really got evened out during that run. Started running Josh down Parrish, and we got that first caution, and it just started getting really tight after that with the heat cycles and the tires, and I was wishing that it would kind of go green because I didn't want to blow right front at that point, and that's what it felt like it was going to at the end.
So Peyton, you're a guy that likes to charge, right? You like to go hard. You like to run hard pretty much the entire race. How hard is it to fight against your natural instinct and just let guys go, drop back to like the middle of the pack, and just kind of hang out. How tough is that for you?
This super saving strategy that I've been trying to do all season finally worked. It seems like anytime I do it, I'll get back up to like 10th and either get wrecked or stall out, and it seemed like it worked. Because when I charged at Nashville, this track is like Nashville with tires. When I charged at Nashville after Josh, I ended up blowing a right. I think it was the right front, and so I learned from that. After that race, it's been super safe since because I'm not gonna blow right front and embarrass myself like that.
So as a follow-up question, Peyton, when you do accomplish the super save and you get some long runs and you start watching the guys struggle, how much fun is it to start to drive back through the field?
Oh, it's great whenever I'm listening to him in Discord being like, I'm so loose, and then I'm like, yeah, well, I'm perfectly fine. Here I come, and then watching like a couple of the guys that was in front of us on that run when I was behind Blake and Josh. Those guys, they looked like they had run their stuff off in about 15 laps, and when I seen that, I told Josh, I was like, yeah, we're gonna make it. We just gotta save. Just keep saving. We're gonna make it. If you just gotta go, let them go, let them run the stuff off, and we'll be fine. And you see, we ended up 3 and 4 right there.
Well, Peyton, I gotta ask then. You've been trying the super save all season long, and you're getting to the front here at the end, but you still came up short of Josh Cottle. And when it comes down to that final race, you're gonna have to beat him. Does that maybe change up how you're going to do this strategy and how quickly you're going to start to make your way to the front? Because you still got to get time now to pass him in that final race.
I feel like I had a shot, but Lewis was blinking, and I was terrified to wreck and knock myself out. So this is the second or third time that I feel like I've had a shot. I think Hickory was another one that I super saved, and thought I had a shot and got wrecked at the end. So I thought for this one, just make it into the next round. But I think if Jackson wasn't there, I might have had a shot at Josh to win this race.
Well, we talked to everyone about next week, Peyton. Next week, Richmond. How does that when you hear Richmond and then Myrtle Beach? How do you feel about making it through the next round, into the final round, and also your chances of winning a championship here in the Late Model Shootout Series?
It's my 2 least favorite short tracks
Oh no!
in the super, and I've never driven either of them in a late model, so I don't know how I feel about it. After watching the Sora race though, and watching Kuhn do what he did, I still feel like we're gonna get enough cautions that the super save is gonna work. I hope it does because it's not going to change. And in Myrtle Beach, I'm going to run 20th. I'm not going to be competitive. So hopefully I can have some luck going into next week and just make it to Myrtle Beach. But I don't know. I don't know right now.
Well, if it's any consolation, it sounds like everybody's saying the same thing that you are. It's not that you're going to be bad at Richmond. It sounds like nobody's really confident there at this point.
If that's the case, then we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely not my strong suit. Especially in the super. I don't know how it'll translate over to the late model, but yeah, Richmond and Myrtle Beach are my 2 worst short tracks in the game. So we're gonna see how that goes the next 2 weeks.
So my question now is, what will it take to get shark teeth on the front of your race car? Like, what do we have to do? The baby shark teeth on the front, like the World War II fighter planes. We need that.
If I make the championship race, I'll do it.
Oh heck yeah!
I will.
Well, I mean, we're not supposed to poll for anybody. But
Well, I don't know if y'all noticed, but on the banner, I got the little baby shark logo.
I do see it.
Oh no, I did not see that.
Yeah. So I did that after y'all started calling me Baby Shark at Hickory. I put it on for Road to Pro for the broadcasted splits, and they called it out in those. And then
That's awesome.
yeah, so I've been called Baby Shark in Road to Pro and in ITZR now.
Well, trust me, Peyton. They had to drag me kicking and screaming to start calling you Baby Shark, but I've relented. I'm doing it now.
I can't believe y'all let Bladen do it because
That
was a
courtesy of Bladen Edwards.
That was a nickname that had not been said since like 2020. I got called that by Wesley Outland. I don't know if y'all know who that is. But yeah, he started that back in 2020, and it went away, and then of course Bladen has to bring it back for this season. Maybe it's a good luck charm because I haven't made
Well,
the
there you
playoff
go.
until this year.
And anytime you pass a car, we call it a shark attack, so that works too.
Do you actually? Oh my.
Well, Peyton, before we let you get out of here, is there anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out? Might be watching on the stream tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Motorsports, Race to Stop Suicide, BSRM, Adrenaline Captures, and ETI, and y'all for putting on the broadcast, and everybody that is watching. I know that I have the fan group usually every week. I don't know if they've showed up the last 2 weeks. I
They
haven't
were
watched
there.
the streams. Were they? Okay. Well, thank all of them for watching, and hopefully we can go get one at Richmond. I feel like I'm so close yet so far away to win one of these things.
Well, Peyton, one more thing before I let you go, because tomorrow night we got 8 more guys that are going to be racing here at USA for a championship. And maybe you don't want to give away too much because you got a teammate and some family that are in that top 8. They'll be racing for a championship tomorrow. But what piece of advice would you give those guys heading into tomorrow's race?
Don't rip your right rear off and you'll be fine.
Well, there you go. Sweet and simple.
I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Peyton, for taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations, 3rd place finish. You're into the 2nd round, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Well, Bill, that is going to be a wrap for us tonight. Another fantastic race. I mean, the green flag racing that we've gotten the last 2 weeks has been phenomenal. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to watch those guys get around this place. I mean, this is a talented field, right? I mean, that's what we talk about every single week. And when they race each other, they were struggling with some race cars tonight, and only one guy actually, I think, blew a right rear at the end and spun the car out after that. But, I mean, other than that, man, what racing we had throughout the field. And unfortunately, 2 guys did not make it to the next round. Trevor Edwards, Corey Bigley, but 6 other guys smiling tonight as they make it to the 2nd round of the ITZR Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll return next week with the Daniel Williamson Memorial 126 from Richmond. And remember, that race was originally scheduled for Martinsville. It moved a couple weeks ago to Richmond. So a big racetrack. And Bill, we've had some experience with Richmond in this car. Oh, I know a lot of people didn't like the Sarah race because they thought it went too green flag racing. But our initial run with this car at Richmond was fantastic, and I can't wait to see what the SPM boys put together for that Daniel Williamson Memorial. I'm looking forward to that race, and the intensity is just going to pick up even more because now you got to be one of the top 4 in the playoff drivers to make it into the final round.
That's right. Yeah, and it's going to be really, really. It makes it so tough to be one of those top 4, especially in a place like Richmond where the tire saving is going to be key. And you're going to see guys like Reagan Parent, who in the original race tried to lap the entire field, and everybody was on top of each other at that place. A lot of racing, a lot of side-by-side racing, and I think we'll see that again next week.
Well, yeah, that should be a lot of fun. But remember, we're not done with this week. The LFOD Motorsports 111 coming at you tomorrow night. 1st round of the playoffs for the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series. And then again, Thursday night, the Rocket iRace Wraps 150 from the Nashville Mini. That is going to be, I mean, that's basically like Bowman Gray of online racing, right? I mean, that could be the most wild race we call all year long.
Almost outrageous. Almost outrageous. But we've raced there before. We did it a couple seasons ago, and it wasn't bad. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Remember, June 15th, Thursday night, we'll be live. A little bit later start time. I believe we usually go live about, what was it, 10 p.m. Eastern for that
right.
one?
10
So make sure you're watching on Facebook. Follow Sim Auto Racing Association. Follow the In the Zone Racing Facebook page. Thank you to everybody that hung out with us all night long on Facebook. Everybody that's on YouTube. I know we'll have our big YouTube crew with the Braxton DeWeese Fan Club tomorrow night. Can't wait to see you guys. Everybody that follows on Twitch, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow night.